I think some of the most easy applicable solutions from Do Good to New Zealand, I think, is the notion that we all used to take our leftovers and feed it to our animals out back. And when we all kind of take that kind of notion and recognize that we used to live on a closed loop system. When we all grew up on a farm, that's how it was. And I think there's a beauty between that as well that I think any farmer, no matter how big or small you are, you can be part of this closed loop system. And I think a lot of farmers already recognize that and already do that. On the back end, which drives towards how do you continue to create a sustainable solution that's economically viable, what was fascinating, I think it's ever more so in New Zealand, is that at least in the United States, 90% of consumers were raising their hands and saying, what can I do to help? Just don't change my habits and don't make me pay a lot more. Well, great. If you can now have a piece of chicken or a protein or any type of product that now has a net positive in the world, not a net negative, yeah, you're willing to pay a little bit more, but you're really able to be a part of that solution and to feel ownership of that. And I think that's what's so unique and so exciting with a lot of these sustainability stories and solutions is that the creator of that product has the capability to really tell something that is unique and differentiated in the marketplace that consumers and the population truly desires nowadays to be a part of. And I think that from a business side of things is a huge opportunity. I think some of the lessons that are things that we kind of experience in the United States and through Do Good Foods that are transferable to New Zealand's outside of just the food industry is the role that technology can play within driving huge and significant change. I think there's ever more opportunity in specifically the sustainability space. Whether you think about textiles, you think about animal protein, you think about soil health, you think about energy and resources and that whole transition. There's never more a greater time, I think, in probably our history that we absolutely need to change. And people and industries are willing and wanting, so long as the solutions are actually brought to them that are economically viable and scalable. And I think consumers are now becoming more aware, recognizing that one almond uses a gallon of water, or that your jeans now are using 1,800 gallons of fresh water. We absolutely need to create solutions that drive different behaviors and different manufacturing processes. And I think that opportunity is quite frankly endless with, unfortunately, how our current system is already set up through everything from energy to commercial flights to all of the single-use products that we currently consume. But we need to solve this, and I think that's what's so exciting by all of these opportunities that are coming, which is the recognition that if we don't, we're all screwed. And so how do we actually create products that are a net positive for the world, not a net negative? I think I would recommend looking outside the box. And I know that's a cliche, but I think there is so much benefit in understanding what is some of the major podcasts on AI talking about. How does that now start to translate to a lot of the whatever food or initiative or economy that you're working on in New Zealand? And I think there's so much opportunity and so much development. And I think there's oftentimes the people that are leading in AI aren't necessarily focused on the sustainability or the food system or the energy system. They're more so focused on, okay, what's their business outcome and how quickly can they calculate or quantify or optimize whatever it is that they're focused on. And I think when you start to look and see and recognize a lot of that and what they're talking about, and then start to try to figure out the connection to your industry, I think that's where it gets really exciting and powerful and kind of revolutionary. So I would look at, everything from the Joe Rogan podcast to I just type in YouTube. I'll just type in, okay, AI for food. And when I don't see that much come up, okay, well then what else is there out there that, hey, might be relatable to food that we can try to kind of make that connection into? I think government and policy are absolutely critical to the development and deployment of sustainable solutions. I think so many markets have been spurred and created by government incentives. In the United States, I know that the solar market was pretty much solely created upon the incentives and the tax breaks that developers and business creators got, that was able to get mass adoption, reduce the cost of the technology, and massively deploy the solution so that it became kind of status quo to everyone. It wasn't this new thing. It was just great. I want this. So in New Zealand, I think there's even more opportunity as well to create incentives and policy that, if you think about agriculture, further incentivize regenerative agriculture. Well, what does that mean? Every farmer knows that they need to improve their soil health and they need to create more environmental solutions. They are farmers. They get that more than pretty much any other industry, right? And it comes down to, can the government create a marketplace for those end products? And how do we incentivize not just the retailers and the food service providers, but the government can also, they have a whole lot of buildings. Great. 20% of their consumption needs to be regenerative sourced, whatever it may be. And I think that policy, that creation, and that leadership is so needed and can really drive huge and massive business changes for the positive.